So in this video, you're going to learn how to validate your software idea before writing code. So first things first, you're going to write down your hypotheses. So they're going to be in 4 buckets. The problem that you think your customers have, who your ideal customer is, what the solution looks like, just sketched out in bullet points, and then your distribution hypotheses, so how you're going to reach more of those customers. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to go talk to potential customers. I'll cover how to do that in another video. You're going to, in each customer interview, you're going to probe for the problem. So let's imagine you're selling software to lawn cutting companies. So you're going to say things like, tell me how you schedule your employees. Tell me how you pay your employees. Tell me how you invoice your customers. Tell me how customers pay you, by credit card, by check, in cash. Tell me what happens on rain days. Tell me how you stay in touch with your employees. So you've got a hypothesis that you can build software to better run lawn care businesses for people who run lawn care businesses, and you need to understand how they do things today. In those conversations, you're going to hear problems. I hate invoicing. It really sucks. And when I invoice my customers, they never pay. So, I'm constantly chasing. So, right, those are the kinds of things that are really, really nice to hear. And, in particular with invoicing, it's payment related. So that's a hair on fire problem. If you can't get your invoices paid, you're going to be in trouble as a lawn care business. So if you can imagine how if you could build a piece of software that would help lawn care companies issue invoices faster and get paid on time, or even ahead of schedule, you would be on the road to a compelling value proposition for those lawn care companies. So once you've sort of got enough juice around problem and you validated that the person you're talking to has the problem, they may not. They may say, I'm fine, I have no problems, in which case, move on to the next prospect. Then you want to show them your solution. And so in this case, the real approach here is to wireframe out what a solution could look like. And so if you're not familiar with the concept of wireframes, they're just screen designs, but they don't have any kind of design elements on them. They're usually black and white. Imagine if you took a Sharpie to a piece of paper, that's what wireframes look like. I recommend starting with wireframes because they really focus on like the core value proposition of what your software is going to do. And customers won't get distracted by fancy colors and start commenting on logos and color schemes and things like that really don't matter at this stage. So you walk them through the wireframes, and you imagine you ask them. The key question to ask them, if it seems interesting to them, is could you imagine using it? And if the answer is yes, then you make them an offer, and you say, okay, so here's what I'm doing. I'm going to build this software in 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, whatever time frame. It's going to cost, for a business like yours, it would cost $200 a month. But I'm taking pre-orders, and the way the pre-order works is it's going to be $50 a month. You will only ever pay that price. You'll never pay a penny more for being an early adopter. Is that of interest to you? And if people say yes, then I recommend taking the money right then and there. So sign up for an account using Stripe or whatever payment provider is available in your jurisdiction. Mind you, your mileage may vary on the legality of this, so I recommend checking your jurisdiction whether this is possible. In Canada and the US, it's not a big deal. And take their credit card information for $50 and take a one-time payment and say, look, if I don't build this software in whatever time frame you've promised, you're going to get your money back. And so I've used this approach. It's super compelling because the best form of validation is payment, somebody parting with their money for what you're promising them on essentially a conversation or a couple of conversations. So that's the most effective way to validate. The other thing to do when you're in these conversations, this is sort of more like tactical stuff, beforehand, write down the questions you're going to ask based on what it is you want to learn. Record the call. So if it's remote, use Zoom. If it's in person, use your iPhone or Android phone. Transcribe the call using a service like fireflies.ai, and then download the transcripts and put them into ChatGPT and ask GPT to summarize. So that's sort of a hack, but the best approach here is really to take notes when you're in the conversation. Ideally, you've got you and one other person, a co-founder. If you don't have one, no sweat. But if you have both, I recommend both people doing this process, or at least two if you have more than two, doing this process, because very often one person will catch things that the other didn't, and having a debrief after the call is super helpful. So broadly, that's how to validate. Write down your hypotheses, go talk to potential customers, really probe on problem. Once you have a sense that this is a problem for them, show the solution, get feedback, ask them if they could imagine using it. If so, take payment up front, promise to give it back if you don't build it within the time frame that you're promising them, and take their money right away. That's really the best form of validation, and the best validation that you're really onto something that's a hair on fire problem.